Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
You already know what time it is, man. I'm doing good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I like you're up nice and early, dude. Where are you located?
I'm in North Carolina, man.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're an early riser. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and, hey, no worries, man. No worries, no worries.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on, man. Everybody in your family is safe and healthy?
Yeah, man. Everybody is. Everybody is. We're worried about grandparents and things like that. So we're coming together to make sure everything is fine for them. So, but other than that, man, we've been blessed through this, man. So we
Yeah,
continue to push.
it seems like we're kind of getting through this. So it seems like baseball, softball's coming out on the other side. It seems like soon enough. I'm thinking the next couple weeks something's going to happen. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
let's get into it, dude. So where'd you grow up and what did baseball mean to you at an early age? Were you always in love with baseball? Was that always your preferred sport, or did you play any other sports growing up?
Nah, if I play. I mean, I played baseball. I played baseball, soccer, basketball, football. I think between all of the sports, obviously baseball turned out well for me, but I really wanted to play football.
Hmm.
Growing up, I wanted to because there was a lot of my friends and things were playing. It was getting a lot of hype. As a youth around the city. If you play football, who do you play for? Who do you play a little, Pop Warner football with, and represent your side of town. So I didn't get that same vibe when I was telling people I played baseball. It was like, oh, you play what? Okay. So I really wanted to fit in with the in crowd. But the main reason I played baseball because it was less of a contact sport than football. My mom was one of those parents that didn't want her son uh, broken arms, doing all this kind of stuff. She was like, "Oh, I don't want my son to suffer a broken arm or something like that." And that's
Hmm.
like, nah. So my dad did what a good parent does, a good husband does, listens to his wife, and he enrolled me into baseball, man, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. So, growing up, did you play any club baseball? Was that even a thing, or was it more kind of, hey, you played your high school, you played your league, and that's kind of what you did growing up?
No, I played little league. I was back then little league was supreme. Because everybody was chasing the Little League World Series.
Mm.
So it was supreme. I mean, of course, you still had AAU, you still had U Trip, and all those type deals. But as a kid, you was representing your little league. You were trying to you're trying to make all stars. You're trying to put together a team at all stars that could possibly go to Williamsport. So it was one of those things that you grew up believing in that. But I didn't start playing travel ball until I was 12 going on 13. Because before then it was just you played little league until you were good enough to get to the big field to play travel baseball. So I didn't start playing that until I got down to the big field, 13.
Yeah, nowadays it's like 7U, travel team, 7U club team and stuff like
Seven
that. So,
U, yeah,
or
yeah.
5U, 6U. We're starting
I'm
at five.
telling you, it really is. It really is.
So different times. So also this also will, not saying you're older, but obviously just to show you what time period you grew up in, what the recruitment process for college. What year did you commit to go to college? Was it senior year? Was it junior year? Or what year was it?
It was my junior year. It was nothing.
Okay.
It was nothing verbal. Yeah, you can The only people that were verbalizing things were the ones that was like ranked astronomically high. They were like,
Hmm.
"Yo, he's going to, Alabama. He's going to this." Like for the people that were because recruiting didn't start so much later. How can you really verbalize if recruiting didn't start till later?
Yeah. And what?
So um for me, I didn't sign until my 11th grade, my 11th grade year when those phone calls started to happen 12 a.m. I was blessed to have during that process of recruiting, I was blessed to have over 65 letters to go to basically any school in the country that was pretty good in baseball. You name it, I pretty much had it come into my mailbox, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to be able to have because I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where we're fairly at that time. I think we had about 200,000, 150,000 to 200,000 people in the city. So it wasn't as big as your Dallas, as your Miami, and places like that. Um, so people were like, man, you're gonna have to move. You have to go to California. You're gonna have to go to Texas. You're gonna have to get, to get that notoriety.
Yeah.
Because it's just not like that around here. But my dad raised me to say, well, if it hasn't been done yet, you need to be that person that sets the bar. So he's always raised me that way, and I really do take my hat off and tip it to him because that's the way I think nowadays. But I chose North Carolina A&T State University. North Carolina A&T State University is D1 in the MEAC conference, D1 AA. And I noticed how on their schedule they were playing the Dukes, they were playing the Cincinnatis, they were playing the NC States every year. They were playing the bigger D1 schools. And I was like, well, shoot, what's the point of me going all around the world?
Yeah.
Try to play at a school where I could just go 25 minutes from my house.
That's a great point.
I can go up the street, be the man, and everybody can come see me from the area. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, and then the cherry on top, I got a full scholarship. And people say, well, how do you get a full scholarship in baseball? I don't think that's true. I'm like, I had the paperwork. I got all baseball money. You know what I'm saying? That was it was a time where when I got it, the coach was like, don't tell nobody, don't tell everybody this stuff, because baseball usually doesn't spend that much money on a player. But I got all baseball money. It was no piece together scholarship. It was just all baseball money.
So those were all points to make that school obviously enticing to you, where you got the full scholarship, you were close to home, you could kind of be the hometown hero or kid. That's interesting. What's your it seems like you have a really close relationship with your parents. You've mentioned them already a couple of times, your dad and mom. Was that also key to be pretty close to them? Like it seems like your dad raised you the right way, your mom raised you the right way. I mean, do you really tip your hat to them, it seems?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not gonna say I was the perfect kid, but I really do respect their hustle, their grind, and what they did to shield me from as much as possible. I didn't really see that at a young age. Because you want to get out there, you want to, you want to party, you want to say, why can't I go spend the night over his house? Why can't I go stay there? That's not right. But I see why it was important because of now. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't have that type of guidance. If I didn't have that type, but they're very important in my life, and that's why when I'm on stage talking to players, I tell them to respect them, whether you trust it or not. Respect your parents. Respect them. They brought you into the world. They know more than you, obviously, because of the fact that they've been on this earth probably decades longer than you. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just be like, I know everything, and I'm 12. It's like, you've been on this earth for 12 years, and half of those years is what you remember because you don't really remember anything at 5.
That's funny. So also, I mean, is your dad a baseball guy or?
Well, funny thing is he wasn't. He enjoyed the sport, but he wasn't a baseball guy. He's a football guy. He was a local star or in the high school ranks, and he stopped playing because of family issues that he needed to attend. But yeah, he was locally known for football, and but my dad took a liking to baseball. He really did. Growing up, he liked to play, like neighborhood ball and know who's in the MLB at the time and follow them. And he grew up watching guys like, Tony Gwynn and grew up watching like, the Cincinnati Reds like back in the day and things like that. So his liking for baseball like easily went to me. And I learned a lot of my information because my dad researched it. He was a research guru for baseball. Like I'm talking about the books, the this, the that. Hey, come here. Pause that game. Come over here and sit down and read this. And we're like, dang, come on, Dad. I just want to play this game. Read it. And then I'm like, with 2 strikes, make sure you. So he was very big on the analytical, mental side of, you see what I'm saying? When you're in this situation, make sure you do this, make sure you do this. That was real big with my development.
And I've heard you also on your kind of your own podcast, which we'll get to obviously plug in. And I've heard you, how did your dad also deal with kind of like treat you when you would be in a, when you would fail or something like that? What was that like in a car ride home after a game where you like, popped up 3 times or struck out? I mean, what was that? Was he hard on you, or was he like kind of put his arm around you type dad? What type of dad was he like?
He was definitely. I mean, your typical dad of people that
Yeah.
turn out to be pretty good. He was hard on me, for real. It was my dad. I get a lot of my fire from him,
Mm.
and it wasn't that he was hard on me like he was abusive or verbally
Yeah,
abusive. He
yeah.
definitely not that, but he was hard on me. I get in that car, I'm like, oh, I roll my eye, like, oh no, here we go. Get in the car, and he would say, yo, I don't understand why you come all the way out here to do the things that you know better to do. I'm like, all right, okay, But what I really take from that as I got older was just more of I wasn't focused
Mm.
because I've put in the reason why my dad was on me because he's seen me time again, put in that work, execute it. So when I get in the game, he's like, that's not what we worked on. Why are you going back to that?
Mm.
And obviously that wasn't focused. So I had to understand that the way my dad was on me was not that he wanted better for me. It was just that he's seen me execute it before. So he was like, yo, you got to lock in. You're wasting your time coming out here. You got to lock in. So he was definitely on me for those type of moments.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
and real quick, I do know this situation. There was plenty of times my dad's batting average is like 1,000 for these moments. I remember when we would face like top tier pitching in Little League, and I'll go up there and I'm swinging, and I couldn't hit him. I was chasing him, my bat was dragging, and I was striking out. I'll start off the game 0 for 2 or maybe 0 for 3, and it'll come down to the last at bat. My dad would come by the dugout and be like, listen, swing your bat and stop playing around. You know what you can do. You know what you can do. Get up there, swing your bat and stop playing around. And I'm over here like, at that time, my eyes watering up. I'm about 12, 11 years old, eyes watering up. And I'm over here like all puffing. All right. Yo, but I went up there.
Friends are asking you if you're all right. You're
Yeah,
like, I'm all right,
yeah, exactly. But I get up there, and I'm so like, I'll show him that I'm trying my best. And I'll get up there, pow, home run. And I'm over here like, and my dad was like, see, I told you. And I'm like, man, what did he see that I didn't see? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was just that kick in the butt that allowed me to believe like I can do this. And I needed that kick to be able to do what I needed to do. So it was like, yo, this man's magical.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So you also from your college career, then was the plan always like, hey, I want to be a professional baseball player. I want to go play pro. I mean, it seems like every college guy that plays at a pretty high level, which you played at a high level, their plan is I want to go pro. Was that always in the back of your head? Like, I'm going to go pro.
Man, I had that dream and vision like when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
8 or 9 years old. The reason why is because at that time I started to really love baseball, like love it, wanting to practice it all the time, wanting to watch it on TV. That's when my love kicked in. But at that time, I was watching people like Ken Griffey Jr. So Ken Griffey Jr. was the man. He was the man. Him, Derek Jeter, coming into the league and everything like that. He was the man. So when you grow up watching those type of players and you love the sport, you want to be like them. So I remember saying, I want to go pro. I want to play professional baseball. That'll be awesome. I want to do that. I remember telling my parents that and things like that. So 8 or 9 years old is when it really, when I set out on that journey. But like when I really thought that I knew that I was going to get drafted. Yeah. I think, let me see, because this is a question that I haven't answered before. I think I have, back when my freshman year.
Okay.
My freshman year of college. Because that's when I got Louisville Slugger All-American honors. That's when I made first team. I got Rookie of the Year. I started getting accolades in college in my freshman year that I was like, yo, if I keep doing this every year, I got to get drafted. Like if I keep bashing and showing up on leaderboards and talks about All-American and this, I mean, shoot, there's 50 rounds. I got to get drafted somehow. You know what I'm saying? So at that particular time is when I said, yo, I'm getting drafted. Like my junior year, that's my goal. I'm getting drafted.
So you get drafted, and you get drafted to the St. Louis Cardinals. So you're there. And what was the biggest difference from college to professional ball? Obviously, you were playing professional ball. You were playing in the minor leagues, like the stadiums. Obviously, might not. I've heard people say it wasn't as packed. I was kind of on my own. Where in college they were kind of holding my hand. What was that experience like? What was the major difference for you?
Shoot, the major difference for me is that when you get the pro ball, everybody's a stud. I mean, for real, it's just like in college ball, you get your upperclassmen are usually the go-to players, all through the lineup. If you're at a really good school, 1 through about, the power of your lineup is 3, 4, 5, and things like that. But in pro ball, shoot, I mean, the whole lineup can leave the ballpark. The first batter probably runs a 6'3". You know what I'm saying? And, the catcher has a hose. The pitchers that you see are throwing nothing less than 90. Like everybody on the staff is throwing that. And then as you get older in pro ball, everybody throws low to mid 90s. And then you have that one guy that's coming in there throwing upper 90s. So it was like in college, it was like, here's the scouting report. We're playing state. They got such and such, and they got such and such, but they're going to save him for the weekend. So during the week, we're going to see this guy. The catcher is pretty good. He's draftable. The shortstop's draftable, and the center fielder, so it's like a selected.
Yeah.
When you get the pro ball, everybody's a monster. You're looking around like, good God, I thought I had a hose. This guy. It's just like that, bro.
That's funny, man. So when you go to obviously the St. Louis Cardinals organization, that's a well-known organization. You're not playing in like cupcake organization. Where did you get a lot of your positivity from, and kind of who was some of your mentors in this Cardinals organization?
Shoot, man. When I first got there, when I got drafted by them, the first thing I thought about was Albert Pujols, because I got drafted, and that was during the time that he was Albert the Machine. So it was like, I got drafted to the Cardinals. I'm like, I'm about to go chill and hang with Albert Pujols. So Albert, Yadier Molina, Chris Carpenter, Wainwright, Tony La Russa. These are some names that I'm like, man, these are some historic names, to be able to put the same uniform on that these guys put on. But the ones that stood out the most was when I had when the minor leaguers got an opportunity to hear speeches from Wainwright, Tony La Russa, and Albert Pujols. And all of them talked about mental toughness, like every one of them. And that was the first time that I was introduced to it. People talk to you about, different things that you should do mentally, but they never addressed it as such. This is mental toughness, and this is what you need to have. So that was my first time that I've ever mixed and thought about and reflected and applied and said, do I have this? Do I have that? I ain't never heard of this. Should I try that? I was like, I'm thinking it's like bigger, stronger, faster, whoever hits the best, whoever throws the hardest, and, just be the best players on the team, and you'll always make it. Then they was telling me about this component called mental toughness. I'm like, I didn't even, okay, let me listen. So that was a good turning point in my life.
So you knew, like, I guess from there, looking back on it now, like, hey, I want to maybe do something along the lines, if the baseball thing doesn't work out, in the baseball field with mental toughness and motivational speaking. Was that something that you always knew in the back of your head you wanted to do?
No. Actually, at that time, I didn't because I got drafted in 2009.
Yeah.
I didn't know about motivational speaking until I was playing baseball professionally in Australia. That didn't come until 2013. 2013. But that moment where I got introduced to mental toughness is what it was the moment that planted the seed for me. It was the moment that planted the seed for me to really start that tree and that development for, you need to learn the mental side of the game. That's what started it for me. Because that's when I realized I didn't have it. And I was like, what if I would have had it back in the day? So that's really what kickstarted this journey that I'm on right now.
That's awesome. We'll get to that. The second part of your career. What about playing in Australia? What's that like? I mean, that sounds like an experience like no other. I mean, I've always wanted to go to Australia. Just going to Australia sounds awesome. But what was it like to play professional ball in Australia?
Man, it was not unlike anything else that I've ever done in baseball. When I got to Australia, the biggest difference, people are like, what is it? How different is it? Well, first of all, in the ABL, if I had to give it some type of comparison, the ABL is more like playing. I would say it's like playing in the American Association or the Atlantic League of Independent Baseball.
Okay,
and they say, well,
that's
what
good.
do you mean by that? I would say because of the fact that at any given time you could be facing a former big leaguer. Like you could be facing a former big leaguer on the mound, and he's like still chucking it, 90 plus. And I mean, for real, we faced Oxspring. He played a big league career. He's Australian. He played a big league career. And Ox was bringing that ched. He was bringing that gas. He was bringing that 94, 95. And he's former. It was former, We faced a guy that played in the major leagues. He was a lefty. I forgot about him. And he wasn't throwing harder than 85, 86. But he led the league in strikeouts because his changeup was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Like you can sit on it and still swing through it because it was just unbelievable. So, and then you also can face some guys that are 18 years old that just got signed, So that's why I said it was. But as far as the experience,
yeah,
it's none like anything over here in America because when you're playing baseball in another country. Especially over there. I can't, say I can see Dominican. I've been over there. But Australia, I had an opportunity to play club and ABL at the same time. And you would think club was just a rec league. Like, oh, man, it's just a bunch of guys that want to play. But it's so intense. It really is. And I've never, when you go play these men's league baseball around America and things like that, it's not as intense. Guys are like, where's the cooler at? After the game, where's the cooler? Let's hang out in the parking lot. Hats backward. Yeah. No, over there, bro, it's like territorial. It's like represent your zip code area. It's like represent the side of town that you're on. So when that energy was unmatched. I was like, yo, this is great. Like, we're competing over here like we're competing for blood. We're competing over here like we're competing with our brothers. And I'm like, I'm not even from here. And I'm feeling like, yo, I don't like these guys across the field. I'm trying to win for my brothers, my fraternity right here. And the energy was just like that. When I got over to Australia, it was like, at first I was the American.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At first. So when I got over to Australia the first time, the pitchers threw at me.
Wow.
But they didn't throw at me like, anything bad. But it was just like a welcome to Australia. We got it too. And I liked it. But that really set the tone and lets you people know, what that energy is like over there. It was just like, yo, we got it too. He rang me in. I'm like, oh, shoot. So then I get back in the box. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to take this sucker deep. He trying to throw inside and try to intimidate me. But it was fun. It was fun. I would love it. If there was a place that I would move, another country, the first place that I would move to would be Australia.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've only heard good things about, obviously, the experience there, but it's good to know that they have some baseball there. So how long were you over there for?
I played 2 seasons, 2013, 2014 season.
Awesome, man. That's good stuff. So let's talk about, the baseball softball motivator, right? So your career, obviously, you unfortunately, when did you kind of know in your head, like, hey, I'm going to start speaking baseball motivationally and softball motivationally and kind of give up on the dream of obviously making it to the pros? What was it? Injuries? Was it just like, hey, I'm sick of the grind? What made you kind of say, all right, I'm going to focus into motivational speaking?
I stopped playing in 2015
when
I stopped playing. I started my company in 2013, and my company is Motivational Nuggets. That was when I was putting videos on YouTube and everything, and it was growing astronomically. It was growing quick, but every time it would stop growing is when I would go play ball. Because I couldn't put no time into it. It was like I was focused on being the best baseball player I could be. So in 2015, 2 years into my speaking career and everything, I had a tough decision because I got signed in 2014 by the White Sox. And that's all that you want. When you get released from pro ball and you go the independent route, the only thing that you want is another shot.
Just get back, yeah.
There's another shot. So I finally got it. It took 3 years, but I finally got it. The White Sox called me and signed me in 2014. And I played 14 and 15 with the White Sox. But then the White Sox didn't have any room for me because they didn't anticipate an independent ball player coming in, you know, and really doing what I did. So it was like, we didn't plan to have room for that. We just got a heavy draft, come in with outfielders. But he's playing so well, and people love him, and the locker rooms love him, the players love him. You know, I was kind of like a veteran. They were like, we can't let this guy go. So they kept me on the DL until maybe that spot opened up. But when you're a grinder, when you're somebody that's really trying to grind to get another opportunity to show what you can do, when you sit on, you know, the Phantom DL for over 21 days.
Yeah, you don't want any part of that.
That's almost a month of just not playing games, you know, almost seriously. We was a week away from that. And I was just like, dude, if this is going to be it, I'd rather go out on my own terms playing baseball, doing something that I love. So I asked them for my release, and they granted it to me. But they was kind of I found out through the grapevines, they was holding on to me to try to groom me up to be a minor league coach. But I'm like, yo, how you gonna throw me a coach plate? You know what I'm saying? A coach plate when I just absolutely destroyed spring training. Like destroyed. That's why they didn't let me go. Like I hit a home run off Mike Leake. I was just absolutely destroying baseballs. Like people were like, who is this independent guy? Like, who is this guy? We didn't draft him. People didn't know my name. They were like, who is this guy? I was like, bah, bah, bah. But then I had to make that tough decision. I said, look, this is probably gonna be my last year. I had my opportunity. I grinded. I did everything I needed to do. I can walk away from this game and know that I raped spring training. Like I just tore it up. I tore it up. But at the end of the day, the problem about that is I wanted to go out on my own terms, so I went to Washington Wild Things, and they accepted me back. And then out of nowhere, bro, out of freaking nowhere, I pulled my quad. I went back to the Wild Things. I'm like, man, I'm going to go out on my own terms. I'm going to have a great year. We're going to help them win a championship. We're going to do this. And then I'm running down the line. Pow! First major injury of my entire career.
Wow.
You know, I've had twisted ankles, sprained ankles, high ankle sprains. I've had all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, back 2 weeks, you'd be good.
Yeah.
No, this was, pow! I was done. So at that moment, that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, bro, this is about it right here.
Yeah, that's got to be a sign somewhere. So then you start doing motivational speaking. And, I mean, that's obviously, was it YouTube that kind of get social media? Was that kind of got you the start? Because you said 2 years prior you were doing these videos. So was it like kind of like you already had that head start? And like, where would you go? Would you go to like a team? Like how would they get in touch with you early on?
Yeah. That you talk about spring training with the White Sox?
Yeah. Well, when you would like motivational speaking, like how would they get in contact with you?
Motivational speaking, because everything was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything was on YouTube. So therefore, if you like the video, you scroll down and say, hey, we want to get in contact with CJ. So people were hitting me up in my emails saying,
was it coaches, teams, like who, like early on, what was it? Where were some of the places you were going doing this stuff?
It was coaches, like organizations. You know, Wake Forest University, my hometown, was reaching out to me to come speak to their team. A lot of university athletics, travel ball organizations were saying, hey, man, we want you to come do this at our banquet. You know, they started reaching out that way. Like, we got a big banquet that we're doing. We got a first pitch banquet, and we need a speaker. We saw your Why Not You video. We saw your mental toughness video. We saw that, and my kids love it. We listened to this. We watch it every practice. We try to watch it started to grow like that. And I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, there's something there. So what really helped me, because I could still play it. I could just rehab the quad and got back and still played.
Yeah.
But what really pushed me towards another direction was my business. It was growing, and I just said, you know what? The energy that I get from speaking to people, it really does something different than what baseball does for me. Like, I love the game of baseball, but when you're on that stage and you're helping people, then I felt something that I never felt before that baseball couldn't give me. It was a sense of purpose. Like, baseball was more of an individual type of goal thing for me. It was like, man, I want to get to the big leagues. I want to do this. 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 But when I'm on the stage speaking, I was just like, yo, this is purpose. People are walking up to me saying like, I'm back. People are walking up to me saying, thank you. I found myself. I was lost, but now I'm found. Like people were saying like, I've been in some dark places, but because of your motivation, I'm still out here moving. I'm like, yo, this is deep. So when you start to feel this type of energy come from people, it makes you want to continue to grow in that area, in that arena. And that's when I was just like, this is it. You know, this is helping me take off my baseball hat and put on my motivational speaker hat. And how it's helped me is by keeping baseball at the forefront. Like I'm the baseball motivator, you know what I'm saying?
That's awesome, man. So people will have to check you out on Instagram, all that stuff. And then also you also you have a music career too. When did that start?
Shoot, man. The music career was an accident back in 2015. It was really, and it really was. It was something I stumbled across. I was in a setting just like this, working from home, working on some few things, trying to figure out who I'm gonna speak to next and who I need to contact and things like that. And then I was just like, yo, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I've been sitting right here at this office for a while. What I did was I said, you know what? I want to do something new today. I don't just want to go downstairs, turn on Madden or Call of Duty. I just want to figure out something different. And I've always been musically inclined. Like I played the trumpet back in middle school, played it well for my church, played the full set drums, I could play piano by ear, you know, and things like that. So I just said, I want to be a rapper today. Today. Like I want to be a rapper. I'm going to write a song. And I'm going to call my cousin up and I'm going to ask him, hey, man, where do you go record at? I'm trying to go to the studio. What's up? So it was just something that I just wanted to do for fun. I made this song called Message to My Haters, right? I composed it on my iPad. I produced it on my iPad. I exported it to my email. And I rapped on it inside of a studio. Didn't even know how to get it mastered. I just wanted to put my voice over the beat. I didn't get mastered or nothing. So I got it back. I was proud about it.
Yeah.
I got on Instagram and I told people like, yo, check me out. Your boy 99 Cent in iTunes. What's up? Go support. Man, off of that terrible marketing, people started loving it and sharing it, man. Like for real. In about 2 months time, I checked it. I literally forgot about it. I checked it, my back office. And I had just under $1,000 in there. And I was just like, wait a minute, this can't be right. Dang, no, whoa, people are buying this? What? So then that's when I had the business idea. I was just like, well, shoot, this could be another resource that I can use to reach people because it was a positive song. All of my songs, you know, grind every day as you'll hear it in there, practice every day.
And incorporate baseball too.
Yeah, it incorporates baseball into it, you know. So I was like, I love that. I love that energy. Let me take this serious and see what I can do. So here we are. I started back in November 2015, and 5 years later, pretty much 5 years almost, like here I am, you know, still the baseball motivated, softball motivated, making songs. I'm the only one doing what I'm doing in the world. Like, we're close to, my agent and I are close to having meetings with MLB The Show, ESPN Music. So one of these days, you're going to probably hear, like, either at the Little League World Series, on the TV commercial, you're going to hear, you call it up, down, in, out, call it strike again, I'm going to prove what I'm about.
That's awesome, man. I love it. People were pumped up when I posted that you were coming on the podcast today. They were like, yo, ask him all these questions about his music career. You're well known for, obviously, your playing, for speaking, for musically, and then also let's talk about what you got going on now. I know that you have you have a podcast yourself. What do you talk about, and what's the name of the podcast, and where can we check that out?
The podcast that I started, I felt like it was a need to be able to start a podcast that was geared towards mainly travel ball parents and youth coaches. Now players can listen in because it's like if you have the mental awareness to be able to sift through and be like, oh, okay, it's going to help you understand what parents need to know and what you need to know as well. But it's really geared towards educating these parents, to helping them understand that they are the number one agent or the first agent for their kids, even before that process is even thought about. You know, like you as a parent, you as a youth coach need to always push your mental because that's going to help set up and position your players to be the best players that they can be on and off the field. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to call it the Loop Zone Podcast. It's going to be PG-13. And we're just going to let people know the truths behind recruiting, what they need to know around equipment, communicating with their kids. Should your kids be playing travel ball or should they still be playing rec ball?
Mm.
When do you pull the plug on my team? My team ain't really that good, but that's his best friend. So when should we leave? As soon as possible. But not like as soon as possible. It depends on the age. Because if he's an 8th player, let him have fun. But when it starts to get closer to that high school, that 8th grade year, he needs to start to position himself to play on the team that's going to push him and prepare him, because recruiting starts, as little as 9th grade now.
Yeah.
For real, it's like 9th grade is when people are making verbal commitments, or when people are going to colleges and things like that. So it's important.
That's awesome. So, you just telling parents and coaches, you telling them to chill? Like, 'cause sometimes parents and coaches, they need to be to be told to chill out, let the kids have fun and stuff like that. Like, it seems like there's definitely a need for a podcast like that. I can't think of another podcast. You might be the only one out there like that.
Yeah, man. And we had one, and I encourage everybody to check this out. We have one on there called "Don't Be That Parent."
That sounds cool, man. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, we listed the types of parents to not be like, and then I think we listed some parents at the end to be like, or strive to be like. And it wasn't like we was discrediting parents. It was just that sometimes you lead with your heart and don't tie in your mind. So you might, want your kid to succeed so much that you become a stereotypical parent. You become that, come on, Blue, it's for the kids. It's like, dude, you don't have to say that after every bad pick. You don't have to say that after, everything that happens to your son and your son only. You don't have to always want to come, hey, coach, you got a second? Hey, coach, you got a second? Hey, coach, you got a second? So we're trying to educate parents on, listen, there's times to do this and there's times not to do this. It's time to not be the helicopter. We got to call the helicopter parent, the parent that's always close to the team meetings, always close, hovering around. I'm like, no, dude, go hover over there, okay?
So people got to check that out. I'm going to check that out after we're done with this. So also, you're also an Easton ambassador. And what does that mean, and how did that come about too?
Man, just Easton has been a staple in the baseball, softball community for a long time. For a long time. Easton's been out there. They got wind of what I was doing as the baseball, softball motivator. And, with them having baseball and softball, they said, hey, that's a perfect fit. Baseball, softball motivator, baseball, fast pitch, softball. Put it together. They saw that I've done lives. They love the energy on my page and everything like that. So they were like, yo, we got to get this guy. So I've been doing every Monday, every Tuesday. Monday for baseball, Tuesday for fast pitch softball, going live 7 p.m. Eastern, just to pump up the kids, get them ready and motivated to be the best player that they can be.
That's awesome, man. You do quite a bit. And where can we check you out? Where can people, I'm sure they're going to watch this later on, listen to this, and they're going to go, CJ is absolute the man. I know I was a fan from afar before this. Now I'm a fan a little bit closer because I feel like I know you a little bit better. Where can we check you out?
Appreciate that, man. CJBeatty.com. Make sure you go on there, CJBeatty.com. It has all the things that I've done, my bios, my corporate speaking engagements, some of my sponsorships and everything you need to know from that standpoint. But if you want to interact with me the most, go to Instagram, CJBeatty44. I'm on there all the time. I'm checking it like it's my phone number. So if you want to get in contact with me, slide in my DMs head first. Give me some time because I got a lot of other people. It's like a queue. I got some other people I got to get back to. But definitely be on Instagram. If you're a Twitter person, CJBeatty44, check it out because a lot of motivational tweets go up.
That is awesome. And last question. This is going to be the toughest question, right? So they're going to make a movie about you one day. I'm almost positive about that. What actor do you want to play you? Or you can play yourself. Some people said, I don't know. Some people say, I'll play myself. I find that to be no fun. You got to think outside the box. What actor do you want to play you?
Man, just because I saw the way that he did in 42, Chadwick Boseman. I would say I think that would be a good CJ Beatty. But the thing about it is I'm going based on the serious moments. I would think that I probably would need to think on it a little bit more because I got to find somebody that's a little bit that has my personality. You know what I'm saying? That has that big smile, that person that's just like lighting up the room. But as of right now, off the top, I would say Chadwick Boseman.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on with me early this morning. You brought the coffee for sure. You brought the energy. And if you're ever in this tri-state, area when things are kind of back to normal, I'd love to meet you face to face. So we're in New Jersey. If you ever find yourself in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'll be up in the Northeast, man. I'll be up there. I'll be up there for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, have a good day and stay safe. All right.
All right, then, big dog.